Okay, parenting tips, how to help your child develop a growth mindset. We know that this is so important, you guys. A growth mindset and a healthy and successful mindset is crucial for your child to be successful in life, for them to be happy in life. It is so, so important. And so most kids are not naturally exposed to a growth mindset. Our brains like to get into fight or flight. Our brains like to point out the negative and see the threats. Our brains are very much susceptible to bad mindset. We have all of our outside environment and influences of the world that don't teach our brains very good things and very good ways to look at the world and perspectives. And so we want to change that for our kids. We want our kids to grow up having developed a very strong, successful mindset. So they have self-belief, self-confidence, they feel self-love for themselves. So they're able to see the world in a positive light and yet be able to face the challenges and problems of the real world. So we want them to just grow their brains and develop into the wonderful people that they are and truly unlock their full potential. So this is the greatest gift that you can teach your children, and it is so vital for the next generations to learn this, especially in the world that we live today. Mental health, mental illness is on the rise, and it's affecting our young children, even our young ones. So we need to come up with something to combat all of the depression and the anxiety and even just the big emotions and feelings that young children have, how to deal with that, how to develop emotional resilience. Okay, you can tell I'm passionate about all this. I could go on and on. Let's stop real quick. My name is Nicole. Welcome to my channel. Let's get started on some parenting tips. I've got a whole bunch. I'm just going to go with 5 today to help you develop, help your child develop a growth mindset and for yourself to develop a growth mindset, right? Because let's face it, we all need to work on our mindsets. Okay, so the first one is model. Of course, we lead by example. If you are developing in yourself a growth mindset and that you are showing that and modeling that to your kids, that is going to speak volumes for your children. Here's some specific things that you can actually intentionally model for your children. One thing is teaching children how to make mistakes, that it's okay to make mistakes and see those things as opportunities to learn rather than criticizing themselves or getting upset or emotional about making a mistake. It's better to recognize the mistake and laugh about it, have humor about it, see what you can learn, find the value in the mistake. So this can be as silly and as simple as modeling, so spill the milk on purpose, or maybe you actually do make a real mistake and you spill the milk as you're pouring it into a glass. Instead of getting frustrated or, oh, now I gotta wipe it up. That's a normal reaction usually. The best thing to do is to model a growth mindset reaction, like laughing, like, oh, oops, silly me, like, oh man, shrugging it off like it's no big deal. Or, oh, I made a mistake. Well, next time I know, here, I'll get a napkin up. Okay, I gotta be more careful next time. I'll watch that. I was distracted. Next time I remember, not to do that or hang on tightly because it slipped or something. If you can articulate that to your child, that's something that you can articulate to a young child. Same thing if you like burn cookies or something like that. Instead of getting really upset and like, man, I'm never doing that again. That was a bad recipe. Or, oh, this person was distracting me. Like, oh, I forgot. Like, I'm so frustrated. Oh, I burnt their cookies. Now they're all bad. It's just, I worked so hard on it and, try to catch yourself and try to model. So you can either set these things up beforehand, planning to do some of these, pre-made mistakes to model, or you can, up your game a notch, and when you actually do make mistakes, catch yourself. That would be ideal. And model these things for your kids, because when your kids see the example that you set, rather than getting upset about the burnt cookies, you can laugh at yourself like, oh my gosh, I'm so silly. I can't believe I did that. Or, it's okay, no big deal. We can make another batch. Or, all right, well, who wants ice cream? Let's go to McDonald's and get an ice cream, and just trying to model that flexibility and model that it's okay to make mistakes, and model that you can learn from mistakes, and model that you can laugh at yourself. Those are all really good things to model to your children to develop a growth mindset. Okay, the second tip that I have for you guys is redirecting your child's thinking. So helping them when they say something that's a fixed mindset, when they say something that is not an absolute truth, something like, I can't do it, and they're frustrated. I always like to tell my children, yet, and I'll jump in there. And they say, I can't do it. And I say, yet, you can't do it yet, but you will. Let's practice. Can I help you? What have you learned so far? Get their brain thinking into, is there another way that I can try this? Or how can I shift my energy so that I can feel positive about my struggle? To believe, okay, yes, I can do this. It's okay that I'm struggling and feeling this struggle right now. I want to make it very clear that a growth mindset does not mean to be positive all the time or to never have any bad negative feelings. It's about what you do with those negative emotions. The negative emotions are signals to us. They're helpful to us. And we'll get more into that in another video, but they're not bad emotions. No emotions are good or bad. They're just signals to our brain to help us learn and figure out what we need to change or navigate what choices we should make. Okay, and it's up to us what choices we make when we feel those negative emotions. So I'll do another video on all of that. There's so much that I want to share with you guys, but to keep it simple, with this second parenting tip, I would just say, try to redirect and use that magic word of yet. I talked about that in another video, how you can help put your child into a growth mindset just with one word, and that's teaching them the power of yet. That they might not be able to do something right now, but they will soon. It's just yet. And if they practice and grow and learn, they can do anything. To be patient with themselves, right? And to not give up. So that builds a lot of resilience, and it helps them get out of their frustrated feeling while it's still validating, yes, I'm frustrated, and that it makes sense, and that's okay, but I can see the silver lining. I can see the future ahead. I know I'll be able to, so I'm determined to keep practicing even though I'm frustrated. Makes sense? Okay, the third tip I have for you guys, and this is a good one. Okay, so praise the effort, not the achievement. Now, this is really good. It is so natural for us when we're so proud of our kids to praise the achievement. When they get good grades, when they draw a beautiful picture, when they score the touchdown, when they achieve something, we praise that. And that starts children thinking that they need to perform, and it sets an expectation that they need to be really good at this thing. And it also separates out what they're good or talented at and what they're not. So things that come naturally and easy to them, they'll get praise for that. And then those are the things that they're good at and they're talented at, and that's what they want to do. And the things that they struggle at or don't come naturally to them, they don't want anything to do with those things because that's too hard. They're not good at it. See how it kind of puts them into a fixed mindset because they're praised for their achievement rather than their hard work and effort. Now, if we were to praise children for their hard work and effort, then all things, all tries, all of the things that they are striving for, they would continue and want to because they were praised for those things. So, and then they would learn and grow and become better and practice, and they would have less anxiety and less of a resistance towards difficult things. So this is a really, really important one, and one that I feel like doesn't come naturally to me many, many times. It's just whenever, someone achieves something, you want to praise them for it. But it's really important to catch yourself, and you can praise that thing. I'm not saying that it's bad to give affirmations to your child that they are talented, that they are smart. Some people who teach growth mindset are like, no, we don't want to put any labels on our kids. We don't want to praise them for anything that they are, just what they do. And I don't agree with that because I think the identity is so important that if they identify as you're a talented artist, they can identify with that strongly and fall in love with that. And if that is their talent, then that's great. But we have to always make sure that we include the effort and the hard work and praise that way more than the outcome. That is really important. And it will help encourage children too, that if they don't succeed at something or something doesn't come as naturally to them, that they still get a reward and see value in trying and trying hard things. And then they're going to be able to grow. Hi, Mason. Okay, the fourth parenting tip I would say is make time. You have to make time to teach your child these things. So it could be 15 minutes. Grab a picture book. I have an awesome video showing my top 5 picture books to teach kids growth mindset. You can read them a book. You can teach them a little lesson. I'm going to have tons of resources on here of a bunch of lessons, games, crafts, thoughts, these different things that you can share with your kids. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and subscribe to this channel and you can start doing little 15-minute lessons with your child every day. I like to do that in the mornings with my kids. We get up and we get dressed. We do daily 5. Maybe I'll do a video on my routine with my kids, but they brush teeth, brush hair, get dressed, make bed, say prayer. So that's what they do. After that, we come down and I make breakfast. And while they're eating breakfast, we will do mindset work for 15 minutes, or we'll do like a devotional. If you guys are religious, that's a really great time to do that too. But we do that for 15 minutes and work on that. There's lots of really fun things that you guys can do. One of my favorites lately, while the weather is good, is going on gratitude walks, where we'll just go out in the morning, even in our pajamas, and just walk around the block really quick and think about all the things that we're grateful for. And it really puts us into a good mood and it's a good start for the day. But my biggest tip is just however you want to do it, just make sure that you make time to do it. And 15 minutes a day with your children, it's not a lot. It's just a small commitment, but that consistency is huge. That is going to speak volumes for your children, and it is going to develop and literally develop pathways in their brain every single day as you work on this consistently. It will instill it into their hearts and minds. And so if you can commit to 15 minutes a day to do something with mindset, that's really good. I like setting a specific time because although you can model these things throughout the day and you can point out growth mindset, you really have to be thinking about it all the time. And sometimes we are so busy, we have so much going on, we have our own stresses as parents. Sometimes we don't always perfectly model the growth mindset. But if we can set time to intentionally teach our children, that's going to be really important and very vital. And it also helps remind us and helps us on our journey to fix our mindsets and develop growth mindsets. And then my last tip is tip number 5. And that is teach your children how the brain works. And this is really important because when a child can learn how their brain works, the process of thought, that produces a chemical, that produces an emotion, the processes of how your brain goes into fight or flight, what's going on physically in your body when you're experiencing emotions like anger or anxiety or depression, learning the chemistry of the brain and how it works and teaching it so that a child can understand it in a simple and easy way. It's like a light bulb and it clicks for them. And then I find that my children, when they learn how the brain works, then they're motivated to develop a growth mindset all on their own. They set goals for themselves and they're like, oh, I get why I need to do this. Like, I'm thinking this thought, these chemicals are being produced in my body. That's why I feel the way I feel. I need to change it and shift it so that I can flood my body with good emotions. Oh, there's a fly, sorry. They realize why. They realize that physically there's different things going on in my body, hormonally, that my thoughts affect the chemicals in my body. And when I choose to think a certain way, it not only makes me happy and blesses my life and helps me overcome my challenges, but I can feel it physically changing my body. I can feel it physically changing and washing away that anger or washing away that anxiety because there's a chemical shift in my body. And it's very fascinating. And you know what? Most moms and parents don't even really understand how the brain works themselves, and they don't even know about this about their own bodies. But truly, when your brain has a thought, it produces a chemical in your body, and that produces the feelings and emotions that you experience. So when we perceive something, we think something, and then we feel something. And it's all a physical response and how we do that every day. We have a magic power to be able to shift our perspective, to be able to stop and think about our thought, or to get a signal from our emotions, say, oh, whoa, I didn't even realize what I was perceiving or what I was thinking, but I'm feeling this. What can I do to change it? And it just puts kids and all of us into a power mindset where we're no longer being acted upon and victims, but we are choosing for ourselves and learning and use and see things as a positive signal for our bodies of okay, this is going on right now. What can I do about this so that I can have success and happiness in my life? So it's so valuable to be able to have the children learn how it works so that it makes sense. But just understanding the why and the how is really important. And explain that to your kids, not only in teaching them how the brain works. If you need help with that, go ahead and subscribe, because I'm going to be doing videos teaching you how to teach your kids about all the chemistry in the brain and all that. So, okay, I don't want to make this video any longer than it needs to be. So there are your 5 tips. Go and use those, and I've got a whole bunch more coming your way. So stay tuned until next video. And leave a comment below if you have any questions for me, or if you have any other things that you do to instill a growth mindset into your child, or any things that you may be struggling with. Questions of, different behaviors of what your child does, and wondering, how can I help turn this around into a growth mindset? I'd be happy to help you with those things. Also, any video ideas that you guys would like to see, please give me that. Feedback is always super helpful as I'm trying to grow my channel. Till next time, you guys. Bye-bye.